of Caucasian.
So that his name is Banjo. We will see him in season 2 more. And this is the first time we see Rossi, the blonde on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Rose Park is a real park in D.C. It's located on 27th and P Street. I lived a block away from there. That's why I chose that. There's always these smug people there with their dogs. And the reason he's holding a pipe is because I knew we were going to do the tobacco episode eventually, so I want to have all these characters like Barbara, this guy, to all have tobacco products in their hand. So when it was illegal, these people would be having side effects from it. There's the voice of Keith, actually, that guy with the plaid shirt.
Keith does it all, too. If you didn't know.
That was Skiff's debut character, and this is also Caucasian's debut episode. So we get to learn about a lot about him.
He's a cool guy.
Cool guy, yeah. Anthony actually did this scene. This is leftover stock footage from Magic Concert Trick, so that's why it's in here.
And there I go, guys.
So this is Tiana's voice, but I sped it up at a higher frequency so it would sound more obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
So Tiana actually does not talk like that. She was doing the voice, but I decided to make it sound a little more obnoxious. I also like how the first time we get to see Caucasian, he's like a really classy kind of bougie character. He's in a tuxedo and a boxy, you know.
How many people you know and go to the opera to see something?
Right, yeah, and he's clearly there watching like the 1812 Overture, which this woman is clearly talking through. This is actually the orchestra that I was the president of. This is our recording of it, so this is us actually playing. So people like Tiana and what's her name, Clarissa, are actually in this recording that you hear. And there's the Muppets from the critics from the Muppets and Abraham Lincoln and his wife. That's the comic book style of District City.
Let me guess, you're inside it. Your dog is pissing all over the seat.
People, please don't let your damn dogs piss all over the seat.
So this episode is kind of to show the way Caucasian is in a white people's world, a very like white dominant world, where they're trying to say like, look, I relate to you, my brother, because I have anxiety. I know what you go through. And Caucasian's just like, I'm used to this now. This happens all the time, you know?
Yes.
Like, you can't faze me in this. So a lot of in District City is kind of told through the eyes of Caucasian through a very, like, privileged white people world, you know? So far we've seen Skiff kind of always appear behind signs or columns, so he's a master hider.
Very shy.
Oh, the silhouette shadow conversation. That's
Where'd you
and
get
then
that from?
I can't remember. And then there's the lens flare. That's very J.J. Abrams. This blind woman is actually based upon Barbara, who is a blind woman who is above the district, the Comic Studios. I fascinated her to look like that. Oh, there's E.T. and Elliot. I based this episode when I went and saw I, Tonya at the E Street Cinema, and I heard a dog barking throughout the movie, and then I saw this woman with her emotional support animal there, and this was like January 1st of 2018. I can't remember 18, and I called this woman to ask her what her thoughts were on emotional support animals, and that's why it says the actual perspective of blind people, because she told me that they really kind of look down upon emotional support animals. So all this dialogue is taken from a conversation we had.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah. And you can't see the Lincoln Memorial from the Kennedy Center anymore.
Santa,
that's right, from Mortal Kombat. You can't see the Lincoln Memorial anymore because they added on to the Lincoln Memorial or the Kennedy Center since then. So you actually can't see it now. And that's another one of Keith's voices. This whole room was shot in 3D, so the reason we got the camera angles the way it is because it's actually in 3D space. And as Caucasian says in Caucasian Answers, the El Pájaro thing that you see is because we were leading into the... we knew we were going to do episode about illegal immigration. Next episode, that was kind of like a hint.
Transitioning into it.
That's right. And the globe that Skip is playing with here is the same globe that we used for when in episode 6 where Dagon flies to Africa. That's the exact same map that we use. It just changed the colors.
Hold on there, Scooter. That's definitely not gonna happen if you're a POSA. In today's news, the trend of
Skip again. Caucasian again. All right, yeah, Keith again. This is transatlantic voice.
animals on commercial flights.
Tell them what POSA means, man. They don't know already.
A piece of shit asshole. It's actually on Urban Dictionary now. If you look up post on Urban Dictionary, somebody posted as seen on District City, piece of shit asshole. So
please use that.
So I kind of felt like we made. Actually, this is kind of in the early stage. Oh, here we are. The sleeper Celestine in Baltimore. And then we have this update news evidence about Brian the Brain on the very bottom there. So we knew we were always going to go down that route. More of the Latino posters on the wall.
This is a very good thing. Representation of Peter.
Yeah, like the arms fall off and the head. Yeah.
Who did all this part?
I did actually.
No.
And then there's the monkey shitting. So the initial concept of this was that every time, it was like the South Park episode where they're shitting out of their mouths. We were going to have a lot of animals shitting all over the place while people were adapting this POSA concept. And they're going to be knee deep in shit. And then we ended up having to cut that out because the standards of practices wouldn't let us have it. So we took all that out. Yeah. OTS. OTS with Caucasian right here. And so we don't know what the timeline is. Caucasian is using a very antique telephone.
Mm-hmm.
This Anthony did the background for this.
Yes, that is a telephone.
It is a telephone, right?
And that is your voice, correct?
Both these are my voice. Dolan is my current voice I'm using, and Dobla is the other voice. Yeah. And J Street. There's no J Street in all of Washington, D.C. Jug of PCP from Whitest Kids You Know.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
Where's your emotional support animal? Shouldn't you have a pit bull or something?
Why? Because it's black.
Caucasian. Hey, Caucasian. You need a lift?
See, the eyes are different now.
Yeah, that's right. The darker.
And no mustache.
Thanks, dog. Hey, dog.
This is the braille for the word fuck that we always try to get past the censors. M on the shoulder for the movie M. I think when we first started, I was more engaged in trying to reference everything in the movies, and now we just don't do that anymore.
Different direction.
Definitely different direction we're taking, because the first episode had a lot of movie references, and now the second one has a lot less. And Humane Society arcs, like Noah's arcs, because they're going to save the animals. I think that's something else Caucasian references.
We're taking all of your animals.
Oh, come on.
Batman transition scene.
What's going on? You can't take my monkey away from me. Spikes, don't hit me.
Don't worry.
And the girl who did this voice, that's her face. I actually fashioned her face out of her. So her name is Mackenzie Newberry, and she's the one that designed our website for us.
Nice.
Yes, she's a.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
Yes, thank you, Mackenzie. She is awesome, and she actually sang the diner song that you hear in episode 6. So she's very engaged in District City.
And he was playing with his dog, and she seemed to. Wait, that's it? It's not the dog after all. I have to go shirtless. Rossi over. Yoo-hoo! Oh, Rossi, galore!
And that was Tiana really screaming. It's like Jesus has not had any character development. He's always like kind of adding ending dialogue at the end of every episode. So now in the third one, we get to actually see his character, see what that's all about. Okay.